Coming up, I have more information about the fire marshal's investigation at the Meadowbrook apartment complex in Buell.
And how one local woman is normalizing a challenging conversation and topic to make things easier for veterans. We'll let you know how she's doing it.
Putting you first. You're watching KMVT News with Joe Martin and Brittany Cooper. This is KMVT News at 6.
Good evening and thank you for tuning into your news at 6 today. I'm Brittany Cooper.
And I'm Joe Martin. In our top story tonight, last night an apartment building in Buell was engulfed in flames.
Yeah, the blaze caused dozens of units to be damaged by a combination of fire, smoke, and water.
KMVT's Zach Buell was the first on the scene Sunday and live tonight with details on what happened and what happens next. Zach.
Joe, I'm here at the Meadowbrook apartment complex where the state fire marshal and his team spent the day investigating the cause of the blaze. Now, residents wait on their word on whether if or when they can return. Last night, a blaze consumed the Meadowbrook apartment complex in Buell, with one building on the property essentially a total loss.
They're pretty much a total loss. Between the fire, smoke, and water damage, it's pretty extensive.
As tragic as the moment is, State Fire Marshal Knut Sandel says it could have been much worse, if not for some simple safety precautions.
Smoke alarms worked. Well, we're real happy about that. We had no injuries, no fatalities, and that's always a plus in something like this. Now what we've got to do is try to get some answers for the residents here, and we'll go from there.
Around 40 residents were displaced from the complex last night. The Red Cross responded to the scene and established a temporary shelter at the Hilton Garden Inn in Twin Falls.
These guys are so graceful about this whole thing. I know they're traumatized, but they just have such a good spirit about it, and they're willing to accept whatever's going to happen. And you know, I'm sure that some shock's going to settle a little bit later on, but for right now, they're just amazing people.
Residents who were displaced have a tough road ahead, but spirits are high and they are confident they will get through.
Mainly for my daughter, you know, I'm trying to, you know, be strong for her, you know, because I know it's scaring her more, and it's, you know, she's really taking a toll from it, you know, because, you know, she's just thinking about the fact that we lost everything, you know, so it's, you know, we'll get through it though, you know, that's why I tell her, I was like, we'll get through it, you know, it's all right, you know, don't stress about it, you know.
Zach Buell, KMVT News. Now, the fire marshal did just come over and tell me that he and his team are unable to find the cause of the blaze today, although they were able to tell me that the fire did start outside the building. Now, Sandel hopes to have more information about the root of the blaze by the end of the week. Live from the Meadowbrook apartment complex in Buell, I'm Zach Buell, KMVT News.
Now, your KMVT first forecast with Chief Meteorologist Eric Brill.
Warm and overall nice weather conditions around southern Idaho throughout the day today. Temperatures right now throughout the Magic Valley, Mini-Cache region in the upper 70s to lower 80s. So one of the warmer days that we've seen of the year so far. Definitely not the warmest, though. Even up in the Wood River Valley, temperatures running about 10 degrees above average. As to what we're seeing on the old satellite radar, doesn't seem like we're going to see too much in the way of activity throughout the rest of the evening and overnight hours. Still continue to keep an eye on that radar, but I think a lot of the shower activity is going to stay confined to southeastern Idaho as opposed to southern Idaho. Forecast for the rest of tonight, clouds will be on the decrease as well. It's really all about if we're going to get any sort of showers, getting them really to develop here over the next hour or two while there's still a bit of daytime heating around. Overnight lows will fall back into the lower 50s and upper 40s around southern Idaho, but we're going to see some colder nights ahead, and I'll explain when you can see those coming up here at 6:15. Joe, back over to you.
All right, thanks. Well, the summer construction season on the state's roadways are underway, and we have another project to tell you about. Exit 201 on I-84 will close tomorrow and be closed for 10 days. The project will resurface 8 miles of Highway 25 from the I-84 interchange to Paul. Drivers on I-84 will need to use exits 194 or 208 during this time. County roads will not be affected. Work on Idaho 25 north of the interchange started today. This work will reduce the highway to one lane during working hours, which are scheduled Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Outside of working hours, all lanes will be open.
One Air Force commander at Mountain Home Air Force Base is sharing her mental health story and hoping it will encourage people to seek professional help if they are struggling too. KMVT's Elizabeth Hadley explains.
Lieutenant Colonel Angelina Stevens has been in the Air Force for 18 years. As the commander of the 366th Maintenance Squadron, many people come to her for advice or as a shoulder to lean on.
So sharing my story was important to me because I have a lot of airmen in my unit now that have shared their stories with me and are struggling.
Mental wellness has been important to Stevens for years. as she has lost many colleagues to suicide throughout her career in the Air Force. But when she struggled with postpartum depression, postpartum anxiety, and suicidal ideations, she struggled alone for a long time.
My own experience wasn't something I shared until a long ways into that journey, because it wasn't something I had acknowledged and faced and gotten as much help for as I should have.
In a video and an article which was released last week, she brings light to the thoughts she was having after her son Logan was born.
It was this constant battle between the severe depression, which was just this overwhelming darkness, convincing me that the world would be better off without me, and severe postpartum anxiety, which is hard to put into words, but is like nightmares playing in the background all day, every day, no matter what else was going on.
It wasn't until her son was 1 year old when she reached out for help. And by sharing her story, she wants people in the Air Force to not be afraid to speak out.
Just hope that telling this story and normalizing the conversation so people don't feel like it is so, it is embarrassing and scary to talk about, and can maybe help people feel like those stigmas aren't there to keep them from getting help, and just normalize the conversation around mental health a little bit.
Elizabeth Hadley, KMVT News.
All right, well, here are the latest COVID-19 numbers here in the state of Idaho. At last check, the statewide number is 190,279 coronavirus cases. Of those, 275 were reported new. In total, 109,922 people have recovered from the virus. The death toll now stands at 2,069. So far, 1,161,075 vaccine doses have been given out in the Gem State. And if curious to know the cases county by county, you can find that on our COVID-19 and vaccine tracker at KMVT.com.
Coming up, what type of incidents are to blame for the fatal work injury rate in the state, making Idaho among the highest in the western United States.
And then later, another scam is plaguing the Magic Valley. We'll let you know what it is and how you can protect yourself.
Plus, high temperatures around southern Idaho over the past 10 days. Good gravy. They've been all over the place, and that's really not an exaggeration. Next week, or over the next week, yeah, we're going to see another up and down week ahead. And I'll explain what day you can see which coming up in a few minutes.
Market Update, sponsored by the financial advisors at Waddell & Reed.
Live from KMVT, putting you first. You're watching KMVT News at 6.
While getting ready to head out for work, most Idahoans aren't worried about safety. Some jobs, though, are more dangerous than others. However, putting you first, KMVT's Candace Hare takes a look at which industries are the most deadly and what's being done to keep workers safe.
Most of them were just like you, and they did not think it was going to happen to them.
Idaho ranks among the top 5 highest occupational death rates in the western United States.
Most of the time they're preventable, and they are usually easily preventable. Most of the time, it's not the first time an unsafe action, activity, behavior, condition was present. People just kind of get used to it, complacent to it.
36 job-related deaths occurred in the Gem State in 2019, that according to the most recently released U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics data. Construction and extraction occupations accounted for 1/3 of the work-related fatalities in Idaho, the most of any industry. One subgroup of that field which is seeing rising deaths, road workers.
Throughout the nation, they are seeing more traffic on those roadways. We're also seeing the same. We've had a couple near misses this year already, and we're barely started the road construction season for this year.
But no matter the industry, Kern says he sees a commonality in work-related tragedies.
When it comes to employers, a lot of the times they'll sit across the table from me after this and say, I can't believe this happened to this worker. John was my best guy. I could always count on him to get the job done no matter what.
No matter what.
The guys you want to promote, the workers you want to put into leadership positions, aren't the ones that just get things done no matter what. They're the ones that get things done, but they get it done safely.
Candace Hare, KMVT.
It is worth noting the 36 total occupational fatalities that occurred in Idaho in 2019 is a slight decrease from the year prior.
Idaho Power is warning their customers of scammers who are claiming to represent the company. They want their customers to know they will never demand immediate payment over the phone or ask for same-day payment via prepaid cards, including Green Dot money-back cards. They additionally will never ask customers to make a payment via Bitcoin or a QR code.
that we never call and demand payment over the phone. And we've also heard that, folks are receiving calls saying that their meter's been damaged and they must pay a deposit or pay for that, right away. We never require immediate payment for a defective meter.
He added, if you receive a call and have any suspicion at all, he suggests you hang up and call Idaho Power to confirm whether or not the message you were told is legitimate.
Later, the annual Snake River Flush is upon us. Details of the event coming up.
Plus, as far as the weather goes within southern Idaho, really not too bad of a day across the region today. As the Rob Green Skycam does have some clouds out there in the distance. But we do have more clouds on the way. And I'll talk about when you could potentially see some showers coming up here after the break.
And now, your KMVT forecast with Chief Meteorologist Eric Brill.
Some sunshine around southern Idaho throughout the day today after yesterday evening's little fun event that did happen. Always got to love it when the old sunshine does warm up the surface of the earth and gives a little bit of instability. That's kind of what happened tomorrow. You're going to have that sometimes where there's some swings and misses, but hey, some days you're the fly, and other days you're the windshield. Today, we're not the windshield or the fly. We are able to enjoy some really tranquil weather around southern Idaho. And over at the Friedman Memorial Airport in Haley, the sky conditions, a little bit of cloudiness around, not really seeing too much in the way of shower activity, but overall across southern Idaho today, it was a warm one, and it's likely going to be the warmest day that we'll see here for at least the next week. Temperatures, last check here at the station, we were at 81.1 degrees. Pair of 80s on the board for Jerome, and over at Magic Valley Regional Airport, 77, the popular number. That is the case for Peekaboo, Richfield, Gooding, and into Burley. 76, not too far behind, with 3 readings into that of Minidoka, Rupert, and Malta. So pretty warm temperatures around southern Idaho with respect to where we should be for this time of the year. It does help that there is a lot of sunshine around. Not really seeing quite as much in the way of shower activity throughout southern Idaho. There have been some very small areas of showers kind of hanging around the South Hills over the past few hours, but really as far as any sort of real substantial showers, we have been high and dry throughout the day. High pressure has been the dominant weather feature around the area, and that's allowed us to see some pretty nice and warm weather conditions, but that's going to scoot itself off to the east, and behind it, an area of low pressure. It's got a cold front attached to it. That's going to roll on through here as we roll throughout the rest of the week. Excuse me. And not only is it going to bring some breezy weather conditions for that of Tuesday and Wednesday, it's going to bring some cooler conditions, more cloud coverage, and the potential for some showers as well as the next few days evolve. As far as Tuesday specifically goes, the winds are going to kind of pick up pretty quickly once the sun does come on up over the horizon. Those yellow lines on your screen, those represent forecast to sustain winds over 10 miles an hour for that of Gooding and Jerome into Hagerman, Buell, Filer, Wendell, over even into Eden, Twin Falls, Shoshone. So it's going to be a breezier start to the day. If there's any sort of good news about it, those of you that see the windier conditions to begin the day, and that's going to be more towards Gooding County, Twin Falls County, Western Jerome, Western Lincoln counties, the wind should kind of, I'm not going to say die down because it's going to be around throughout the day, but it should slow down a little bit as the day rolls along. But that also means that off to the east, that's where those winds will kind of pick up later on in the day. Fair amount of sunshine as far as Tuesday goes. But then as we move into Wednesday, that's when the cold front really does start to approach southern Idaho, and temperatures will be falling back. And unfortunately, it's going to be another breezy one for that of Wednesday. But that's Wednesday. We still got to get through Tuesday, in which temperatures still pretty warm. Upper 60s, lower 70s expected. Not quite as warm or nice as what we did see today, but overall still not bad. Northern Magic Valley conditions, middle to lower 70s in the forecast. Breezier conditions around, especially to start the day. Twin Falls County temperatures right around average, so nothing out of the ordinary. And last but not least, the Mini-Cache region. Westerly winds at 10 to 25 miles an hour with temperatures yet again comfortable. It's just the breeziness isn't going to be fun to contend with. 7-day forecast for the Wood River Valley. Notice the temps. They're going to fall quite a bit. Some middle 50s up to the north for highs on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Some solid chances of showers as well. I think in the higher elevation locations, that would include the Wood River Valley and the South Hills of Twin Falls and Cassia County, up to about an inch total of precipitation is possible over the next week throughout the Magic Valley and Mini-Cache region. And it's not going to be a real soaker, but collectively about a quarter inch does look to do it, so at least it's better than nothing. And temperatures will be below average much more often than not over the next week, Joe. So gotta love it when I'd say an early spring looks to return to southern Idaho, not too far away from Memorial Day weekend.
All right, thanks. Starting today, water levels will be increasing in the Snake River until early June for an annual flush to assist juvenile salmon to reach the ocean. While this happens every year, it's notably earlier this year due to the severe drought conditions. The anticipation is water levels will rise to 5,000 cubic feet per second, which is great news for those viewing Shoshone Falls, but comes with danger as well. The Bureau of Reclamation urges those in and around rivers to be wary of the changes both this week and in the following weeks as water levels reduce once again.
We're around the river one day. We just kind of maybe anticipate that that's just going to be what the river's going to look like on a day-to-day basis. But to be very aware of surroundings, especially from now, early June, when the river flows are going to be fluctuating a little bit and there's going to be changes in the river.
Now the increase will slowly rise through tomorrow. Starting next Monday, the 24th, the water levels will begin to decrease as the flushing period comes to an end.
Today marks the final day for Americans to file their income tax statements and payments. The extra time was given to accommodate a slew of tax law changes because of the coronavirus pandemic. About 116 million returns were processed and 84 million refunds were sent by May 7th. But many millions of others are still awaiting the refunds. You can ask for extensions until October 15th, but if you owe, you still need to pay by today or face future late payment penalties. Well, coming up, the Canyon Ridge baseball team is one day closer to their first ever appearance playing in the state tournament. For the first time ever, the Canyon Ridge baseball team is going to the state tournament. The Riverhawks beat Minico last week in the second place game to earn a berth to the 4A state tournament held at CSI's Skip Walker Field. It took 11 years, but this year's group found a way to get it done in districts. They're 17-8 on the season, boasting the most victories in school history. Canyon Ridge opens the state tourney with Ridgeview on Thursday at 1. The district champion from the Southern Idaho Conference is also making its inaugural appearance at state. The teams met up once this year with the Warhawks coming out on top back in March.
I think we're both just very competitive teams, and when we do what we want to do, they do what they want to do. I think it'll be a great game, and we're just coming to compete.
We're just going to have to play our game, just settle down, throw strikes, that's all we need to do to win.
For both of the district representatives to hail from Twin Falls means a lot to this team.
I think it's just really the hard work we've been putting in the off season. I mean, across town as well. They've been working hard. We've been working hard. I think just the extra hours in the winter really helps to keep us going throughout the season.
I remember when I was an 8th grader, my sister was in the state title game over at CSI, and they came up just a little bit short. They ended up taking second, and the whole atmosphere was just insane. And it really just comes down to who plays the better game, and I think that's what we bring to the table.
The capacity for Skip Walker Field is 500 fans, so arrive early for the games. Otherwise, you may not have a seat. Well, speaking of the Riverhawks, the cross-country and track and field programs are also enjoying a defining moment. Riker Holtzen signed with the University of Wyoming this afternoon. Last week at Jerome High School, Holtzen won 3 individual district championships and helped the medley team win one as well. Now that team boasts the second fastest team in the 4A rankings ahead of this week's state track and field championships at Eagle High School. In 2017, Holtzen helped the Riverhawks take second at the state cross-country championships. He chose the Cowboys after looking at Eastern Washington University and the University of Idaho.
I'd like to thank my family for pushing me and always standing beside me and supporting me at all my races. I don't think they ever missed a race. And I'd like to thank my coaches, Coach Benoit and Coach Patrick, for pushing me and getting me to this level.
The Cowboys just wrapped up the Mountain West Conference Championships, finishing 4th, their highest team finish since 2000. Well, right after Holtzen signed, Michael De La Torre followed. The senior soccer player is taking his talents to North Idaho College. De La Torre earned Great Basin All-Conference honors playing for the Riverhawks. Last season, he helped lead the team to a 3rd place finish at the 4A state tournament. The Cardinals compete in the Northwest Athletic Conference. And tonight on our news at 9 and 10, we'll take you to Buell High School for a wrestling signing as one of the state's best is headed to the Division I level. We'll be right back.
Finally, a team of paleontologists in Mexico have identified a new species of dinosaur after finding its 72-million-year-old fossilized remains almost a decade ago. The new species was identified as a crested dinosaur after 80% of its skull was recovered.
All right.
How about that? Okay.
Well, you know, the weather later this week is not going to be enjoyable for those of us that are going to be outside, but at least right now it's pretty nice.
Yeah. I disagree. I think it's going to be awesome later on this week. Some cooler conditions back in action. But as far as tomorrow specifically concerned, temperatures do look to be a little bit cooler than what we did see this afternoon, but it's going to be breezy. That's kind of the side kicker with that. So watch out for that for tomorrow and Wednesday.
All right, that'll do it for now. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here at 10. Enjoy your evening.